Welcome back to my 100% Pokemon Colosseum walkthrough. I'm your host, DeoGenZ, and these books are too difficult for us, so I say, fack reading. We are not in a game, especially a Pokemon game, to read. Oh no. If you wanted a reading game, you should have go checked out the Analog a Hate Story LP. That's all reading. But this, Colosseum, it's all about the battles. It's all about the rooms that magically expand into a perfect battlefield for all these thugs to take place and take part in this sick Shadow Pokemon experiment. Look at this poor Flaffy. Tortured and tormented by Shadow. Noctowl, his heart even icier and colder than Flaffy's. Flaffy's doing actually pretty alright there, as you can see. His Shadow Bar, it's pretty minuscule. So that's good. And we will most likely swap out... Actually, you know, I'm saying this for now, but we'll see. We shall see. Notice that the levels of the opponent's Pokemon are not dropping. In fact, they are increasing, which, yeah, I know, you'd expect that to happen in a game, but it's already at 30s. So, as we progress through the game, I could see this being a far more difficult task to try and individually purge each shadow. So, my solution for that, I think I'll be going at that last. I'll worry about purification after we've swept up most of the story. Sound good to you? Oh, I hope so. If it doesn't, you're in for a bad walkthrough. I'm just kidding. This is going to be amazing. Look at these graphics. GameCube. Eye-popping oddish is coming at you. It's crazy because I actually just got done watching Matt Goldsman's Halloween special, and in that he showed the Resident Evil 4 Special Wii Edition, and that was a GameCube game as well, but it's amazing how much more aged a game can look, I suppose, if it uses muddied up colors and something that, if you're in a grimy area, if you're in a dark, dank sewer or something like that, you kind of want HD textures. Otherwise, it looks like you're just walking through blurry, brown, gray blob world. And that's sort of what Resident Evil 4 looked like, which is strange because it was supposedly enhanced on the Wii. But this game, on the GameCube, not ever given new Wii controls, because there's really no reason for it. I mean, what are you going to do? Point at where the attack is? No, that's ridiculous. Battle Revolution barely used Wii Motion. You think that Colosseum new play controls could do it? No, but still, these graphics look even grander than Resident Evil. I don't know if that's just the development companies, my Pokemon bias, a mixture of the two, but certainly things that are more colorful last longer. I mean, you can go back and play Mario Party on the 64, and yeah, it's aged, but it's awesome. It's still fun. It's a blast. And I believe colors have something to do with that. There's not a huge motivation for me to go into a game to have my limbs ripped from my body. If it's all disgustingly brown and ugly, I don't mind if I'm in a high-intensity Fallout environment when the textures are seeable, but if everything is just some sort of blur and I can't decipher which blur is attacking me and which blur is the scenery, I've got no interest in going back to play those games. But Colosseum is not that game. Colosseum is cool if you get the link cable too, because what you can do with these Shadow Pokes after they're purified is send them over to the GBA, then through a long transition of going to PAL Park to Diamond and Pearl or Heart Gold Soul Silver, whichever ones you want to do, and then transfer through the time capsule into Black 2, White 2. These pokes span the generations. And I think that's something that the Pokemon Company picked up on pretty quickly after hearing the dismay and displeasure of fans who couldn't transfer any of their Pokemon from 2nd Gen Game Boy Color games to 3rd Gen Game Boy Advance. I really believe that that's almost why there was some dwindling interest in the Pokemon legacy during the 3rd generation. I don't know, that's just me. It was at least what I observed in school, because by the time I was fully immersed in Pokemon, which was really by the 3rd gen when I actually knew some of what I was talking about and what I was doing, all the strategies and whatnot, I didn't notice many other people playing. Nobody had Game Boys, nobody was trading any cards anymore. The phenomenon, the fad part of Pokemon, which, you know, definitely can't say that it's a fad, otherwise it wouldn't be having millions and millions of videos on YouTube like it does. But when it was in its initial craze period, you know, it certainly died down at the 3rd gen, I feel, because you couldn't take any of those familiar faces. And people were like, nah, I'm not that invested. I was just kind of into the consumption craze thing, collecting the cards and all the toys. And I don't know if you ever heard, but there was this one guy, and I make the distinction guy, you know, a full-grown man who went to Burger King. And it was at the time they were giving out Pokemon toys. Apparently he didn't get the one that he wanted. I didn't know that he ordered a kid's meal apparently for himself, but he didn't get the one that he desired, so he chucked it back at the employee and actually injured the dude. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Now you understand why my parents were a tad hesitant to let me get into this series, but once the freaks and fanatics went onto some what other craze they could find, if it's Beanie Babies or Pogs or who knows what the fuck those crazed balls collect these days. They're probably hoarders. People who would strike another human being over a plastic toy. I mean, get real. You know, they've obviously got something going on wrong in their head. Speaking of lashing out, I checked the comments from the past videos and you guys seem to agree with me that you don't recall ever the shadow Pokemon attacking humans after the initial demo to show you that, oh, these Pokemon are not like the other. It's more than just a purple box around their face that lets you know. They go hyper! And in this hyper mode, it could be humongously dangerous for human trainers too. But I never see them attack us. So I suppose one would feel alright pushing their Pokemon to the max limit of hyper mode, but I would warn against it, just because they will sometimes injure the other Pokemon partner at your side, whether they're shadow or not. They get envious of their shadow meter or lack thereof. They say, why can't I be normal? My heart, so iced and locked and cold by not Team Snag'em, I was about to say that, but the bunch of Mirror Bee boys. I really wonder if Mirror Bee is behind this entire thing. He seems a little too... what's the word I'm looking for? Not flamboyant. I mean, yeah, he's flamboyant, but that's not why he's non-reliable. Airheaded. Yeah, that's the word. He looks a tad too airheaded for me to believe that he could pull off this whole operation by himself. He's probably like a mini-mob boss. Probably. That guy's guarding a cave. Not suspicious at all. Cave on the roof. Darling, aren't you one of Dukin's people? What made you think that you could simply waltz in here? Such a silly boy. Gah! Where's Mirror Bee? I'm taking him down. Take him down? After the beating you took? That's too funny. You wait. I'm going to drive all of you out of this town. Ooh, such a feisty boy. Don't tell me we have to take your Pokemon hostage to make you settle down like we did with Dukin. What? Fun's over. Oh, we seem to be getting a lot of unexpected company today, but that's no excuse for being rude. No, it's not. So please, politely greet me with a battle. Thanks, peon. That's funny. You're a peon and your shirt's yellow. I guess Mirror Bee is pee on your dress and your shirt and your blouse and your face. That's how you become a peon. Some of them are ciphers, and I don't know what you have to do. Maybe siphon gas out of people's motorbikes that hover around these parts. And that Remoraid's a shadow. Remoraid. I have a cat named Remmers. Remmers. I always think of that when I hear Remoraid. So we will... Oh my goodness! Almost knock that thing out. Oh, wow. Wow. But yeah, I had to adjust my eyes there. Holy crap, guys, be careful. That thing may have a super powerful Aura Beam. Aurora Beam. Aura Beam would be Lucario. But it's only at level 20. I slipped up on that. I've been so used to seeing these level 30 shadows that I thought a Shadow Rush would be equivalent, but no, 10 levels of power greater. I'm impressed that Remoraid even held on. So we definitely want to capture it. Let's not mess around. Because even if it sits on the field for one extra turn, that's one extra turn that it has a chance to do Shadow Rush itself. And we must not forget that Shadow Rush does take recoil damage. So we could lose the Shadow in the process of them attacking us. Quite a sticky predicament if you ask me, so let's avoid it! And snag it right there. Love Disc. I don't love that Pokemon at all. Nope. It doesn't even do anything, does it? I mean, it doesn't evolve. It doesn't play any role in like a underwater ruins type puzzle. That would be cool. Imagine that if you had to take unknowns with you and different Pokemon that are shaped as geometric patterns like Love Disc, and I'm kind of at a slip of loss of other pokes that are geometrically shaped like that. I guess you could do Magneton because it's 3 circles, kind of like my logo almost, but you could also do Soul Rock, Lunatone, those types of things in the underwater caverns. Put them into the wall and then they unlock the door, something like that. I don't know, but this Pokemon as it stands, useless, absolutely useless. You know, if it wasn't for Trubbish, I would have said that you, my friend Love Disc, are the most non-Pokemon-esque Pokemon. I mean, it's just a heart flipped on its side. And not even like a human heart. A human heart would be more gruesome. That'd be a crazy Pokemon to fight. Giant living human heart on the field. Go! Use cholesterol blockage. It was super effective! Haha, heart attack. That's what we like to have in these parts. That's what you get for threatening Duking and Silva. Although I don't even know who Silva really is besides some punk kid who likes to steal gears. Whose fucking name is Wreath? I didn't even get to see what that person just said. I didn't even realize we were battling a wreath. Like something you hang on your door. Wow, first I thought it was bad enough that she was a peon and her shirt was yellow, but she's a yellowed, peed-on wreath. Ugh, I don't know who's gonna hang that on their door. Ding dong! Oh, why does it smell like bum piss at your house? Oh, it's just that peon wreath that we like to hang up around the holidays. You know how it is. Oh, and a Mantine. Mantine is much stronger than that Remoraid that we ransacked from Wreath. Wreath! I guess as a game developer, you have to get outside of the box with the names. You can't be like Jill, Bill, John, Bob, Tom. That would get also equally boring, and then I suppose I'd be mocking them on a different aspect, but it's just fun little dribble-drabble to talk about in between battles. You know what's even more fun in between battles, or during battles, even better, it's dubstep. I know, I am a propagator, purveyor of dubstep beats, and I have mentioned it many times on my walkthroughs in the past, but I'm serious! I found a new dubstep album! New to me. Well, it's Bass Nectar. If anyone is a dubstep fan, you should know that right from the start. Bass Nectar. And there are 2 albums that I've been listening to lately very much. It's Divergent Spectrum and Wild Style. Wild Style is not as long as Divergent Spectrum, but it's more hardcore. You know, I can't even say it's more hardcore, but it is just like a pure dubstep injection to the veins of awesome that just makes you feel like, I am the electrons! I now feel that I am everything, everywhere, at all times. I know it's hard to believe. Energy, conservation of mass, things like that makes that true. And otherwise, it sounds like psychobabble. But truly, when you get down to what we are molecularly, we are just mostly made up of space, empty space, and forces that keep us mostly together and somewhat apart. It's pretty interesting. But as you're listening to Divergent Spectrum, you can definitely hone into that electron level of everything. And it's excellent for battles too. It's completely triumphant, very fast-paced, and makes them a lot better than just a boring narrator. Not myself, of course, because I am the cool commentator DeoGenZ, but if it was any other commentator, if it was any other voiceover, you might prefer dubstep. I'm just saying. No, see, I wish I could speak like dubstep sounds. And it's funny that dubstep came about not too long ago, a couple years. I think maybe 2009, 2010 was when it really started to get popular. But before that, I saw the Lucario movie that featured the Reggie Trio, Reggie Ice, Reggie Steel, and Reggie Rock. And they sounded like the bass stumblings of dubstep, the bass samples of dubstep. They're weird computer noises that came out of these things, even though they were elemental earthen type creatures. They sounded like possessed computers. If anybody else has seen that movie and would like to weigh in on an opinion of what those things sounded like, please do in the comments below, because the first time I heard those freaks, I was like, my goodness, I gotta make a song out of that. And I did not have the dubstep engineering that the masters of today do, nor do I have it now. So I never got around to fully making that, but I did take the samples. Maybe if I ever get some good mixing software, I will figure that shit out, but until then, I'm just gonna throw my balls at pokes and hope they land and stick, because sticky balls are the best. No, wait, what am I saying? The balls that hold you in are the best. No, that's not quite it either. You know, you just want good, strong balls. That's a good lesson to take home from today's episode. If anything, have strong balls and you should be fine in life, everywhere. Even if annoying skates, and I'm not talking about skater skates, I'm talking about mantine skates, like stingrays jump out of the water and shoot bubbles at you with your strong balls. Whether they be great or ultra, will withstand the pressure. You'll be fine. You will be fine. Yumo guegue fai mizao, yumo guegue fai mizao, yumo guegue. Yes, it works every time until it doesn't work, in which I will call shenanigans. But for now it works, so that's cool. Yes, I do love Jackie Chan Adventures. I still have some of the episodes recorded. And, Uncle! I feel like Uncle many times with all the research projects you get in college. But it's interesting if you think of how you can make yourself more interested in something that's normally boring, like a research paper. It's sort of like leveling up and experience grinding, which, if you think about it, you do all that banal, boring stuff on a daily basis if you're playing Pokemon or any other RPG. Sorry, I hate to say it, but yeah, I fall subject to this too. We do a lot of boring shit. We do a lot of button pressing for not a lot of reward. The very minimal reward of seeing a level, seeing a number increase. And that's about it. Maybe some different colors appear, maybe a different power emerges. But not much is gained from all this experience spamming. So in the same way, if you lose sight of your goal in a video game, if you lose sight of the fact that we're trying to solve the conundrum of these shadow Pokemon, trying to unlock the hearts of Pokemon everywhere, and make sure that trainers are no longer attacked by thugs and their brutish Pokemon. If you lose sight of that goal, then it can seem like banal, boring leveling up that we have to be forced into every battle. Why all the double battles? Because they're excellent. Because it's experience. And just in that same sense, research papers can be that same sort of deal. Every bit of information you get a hold of, every book that you turn a page of, and every point that you find to make your paper stronger is just one more level up to conquering the A. The A grade. The A of all assholes that eludes many. It can be yours if you do some experience spam and do a lot of research. So Uncle must do research! And when he's not, he's chanting magical spells to help us out in this game. So that's awesome. That is more than we could ask for. And don't be afraid, my friends, to use the supporting moves that the game gives you. In fact, it's a lot more important, I find, in this game especially, than any other RPG of Pokemon, to do the supporting moves. Well, actually, that's not so true with Black 2 and White 2. They're starting to get the balance back. You know, they did a really good job in this game in that you couldn't power spam the game to death. You couldn't just train one Pokemon and get through the whole game. No, you had to train a whole team, you had to purify some shadows, and maybe make some decisions along the way if you found some more desirable shadow types to switch it up a bit. So when deciding your final team of shadows, make sure that in the double battle realm, because that's what all battles in Colosseum are about, make sure that they have moves and supporting moves that will aid each other and not harm one another. For example, we have Flaffy on our side. If I do decide to keep that on the team and raise it all the way up to an Ampharos, which I do think I may because I love the 2nd gen, I don't want to have a Pokemon that will group up with it that has Earthquake, because Flaffy is not grounded, doesn't know Levitate, it's going to be wiped out supremely by Earthquake, and that could defeat the purpose of pairing it up with whatever that Earthquake hitter was. So instead, Skiploom. I would send Skiploom out with that poke that could use Earthquake. These are the types of decisions you have to make when looking at snagging the shadows. What is going to work best on my team? It's not necessarily the strongest level that will grasp victory for you every time, because there's many resistances in this type world. 16 types, many different resistances and weaknesses to play off one another. So you have to consider them all at once. No, I'm kidding. You really just go at your own pace. It's not as daunting as it sounds, but I do warn against randomly experience boosting and shadow de-leveling Pokemon. You know, have some kind of scheme. That's what I could best recommend, because there are points in RPGs, and this has happened to me in Mario and Luigi RPGs multiple times across multiple games, and it's so frustrating. You get to a boss, and you know that no matter how many items you buy, no matter how many hyper potions, no matter how many mushrooms, syrup, nuts, whatever game you're playing, whatever item you need to upgrade your battle points and health points and all that good stuff, you're just not going to have enough purely on a numerical basis to beat this boss. And you know exactly where you went wrong. Oh, you know. You sorely know. And the thing that sucks about it is there's no rewind in time. That's what I'm talking about with the tedium of some RPGs. If they're ruthless like that, where they won't be fair in giving you some new training area or a place to build up your stock of items to take on that boss that is so tricky that you can't triumph over it, then it tends to make me put it down. It does. I don't rage quit games. I just say, alright, that was fun while it lasted, but I'm done now. There's a million other games that I have to go play before I'm dead, so yeah, I'm gonna go do that, because they're a lot more fun than staying at this one area and getting frustrated over and over again. Never broke a controller, never broke a DS, nothing like that. I'm too poor for that. If I broke it, I wouldn't be able to replace it, and then I'd really be pissed. And then I'd only be pissed at myself, and what am I gonna do then? Break my hands, and then I can't play video games. See, it's a vicious cycle. It's why rage quitting for me never an option. Simply, alright, it's time to go outside now. Time to get food. Time to do something else. And this Fudit is fucking pissing me off. Yeah, you better get hurt by confusion, bitch. It's the only hope that we have, because it's been boosting its defense so much. See, it's not just you who is going to have to take advantage of the supporting moves like Confuse Ray, but it's also your opponents you'll have to look out for, because they'll set up on you. Go check that shit out. I can't believe it. They set up on you. The AI in this game is great. It's amazing. Much better than the previous cartridge-based games. Although, having done a crystal walkthrough and trying to train a team of 6 instead of 3, I see that there's multiple ways to play this game, and definitely amazing how rich and open it is to everyone, because you can be a complete noob and you can power spam through a great number of the RPGs in the Pokemon franchise. But at this point, if you're going to Colosseum, you better know a thing or two about battling, especially double battling. Double battle. It makes me wonder if the Shadow Pokemon concept does return, and I would not be against that happening. Go for 3DS. But if it does, makes me wonder if they will integrate the 5th gen mechanics and make it so that every battle is a 3-way battle or a rotation battle. I don't know. Let me know what you think of that in the comments below, because that might take a bit too long to get through a game. Just seeing how long it took for that one double battle, jeez. But it could be an interesting concept to play with. And great. Now we gotta find Duking's Pokemon, because he couldn't put up his dukes at the time to protect it. And it's just a Plusle. You can't even get up. You're gonna go save Duking's Pokemon? We meet again, kid ass! Mirror B, you cowardly cheat! Cowardly cheat, that's so not true! Taking a hostage is a perfectly fine bargaining tactic. You call that a tactic? Plusle, it better be okay. Oh, the darling couldn't be any safer if it tried. I'm sure it will come to adore me before too much longer. You've got to be kidding me. Where is it? Give it back. No running or hiding from me. Come to the cave. That's where I'll be. I'll be waiting for you, my pretties.